For 3 years, I thought I was building a life with someone who truly saw me. 3 years filled with shared plans, late-night convos, spontaneous weekend road trips, the kind of stuff that makes you feel like you've found your person. I genuinely believed we were laying down the foundation for something lasting. Something strong. The type of relationship that could take a few punches and still stand tall. But turns out I wasn't her partner, I was just a filler. A steady, predictable guy she leaned on while sneaking around with someone who had absolutely no business being in her bed. Let me back it up a bit. Around the 2-year mark, I noticed things starting to shift. Nothing huge at first. Just little comments here and there. Linda suddenly had a lot of opinions about my friends or where I went after work. It didn't raise alarms right away. But man, it escalated fast. One night, we're chilling on the couch and I casually mentioned grabbing lunch the next day with an old coworker. Her eyes narrowed. Is she cute? She asked. I laughed, thinking it was just playful teasing. What? No, she's married. And like 40. Linda didn't crack a smile. Just stared at me dead silent. That's when it really began, the endless questions. The doubt. The need to know where I was 24/7. Who I was with. When I'd be home. It got to the point where I had to send her my daily schedule. I'm talking gas station stops and sandwich breaks. One night, I hit traffic on my way home and walked in maybe 10 minutes later than usual. She was already by the door, arms crossed, eyes drilling into me. Where were you? Traffic, I said, dropping my keys into the bowl. There was an accident near the bridge. You didn't text. I was driving, Linda. You could have called. Hands-free. I blinked at her. Seriously? You're always the one preaching safety first, but now you want me calling you while I'm dodging wrecks on the freeway. She looked away and started pacing. I've been cheated on before, okay? I've got trauma. I can't help feeling paranoid. And I believed her. At least at the start. I mean, we all carry some scars, right? And the way she talked about being cheated on, it sounded raw. Real. So I told myself, just be more open. Give her reassurance. Show her you're not that guy. I figured maybe she's just scared and needs to feel safe again. But spoiler alert, that didn't help. At all. If anything, it added fuel to the fire. Now here's where things started to unravel. About 6 months before our anniversary, I wanted to do something nice for her, not for any holiday or birthday, just because. Something small, something thoughtful. My job's flexible enough that I can bank hours and sneak a day off without it raising any eyebrows. Linda worked as a shipping manager at a fabrication plant. Funny enough, her brother Mason, one of my closest friends, worked there too on the floor. So I texted Mason, trying to line up a lunch surprise. Me, hey man, thinking of surprising Linda with lunch next week. Any idea when she's got a light day? Mason, oh yeah, she usually dips out early on Wednesdays. Some days she doesn't even come in if shipping's light. And I just sat there, staring at the screen. Because according to Linda, she was grinding out 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week. No mention of half-days. Definitely no mention of skipping entire workdays. That little crack in the story? It didn't sit right, especially considering that's right around when she started clamping down on me. Huge red flag. But I didn't call her out. I didn't accuse her of anything. I just started watching. Closely. A few days later, I told her I had a major deadline and wouldn't be home until late Wednesday. Don't wait up, I said, sipping from my travel mug. She smiled and kissed my cheek. Don't work too hard, babe. So I played it cool. Got up like normal, dressed in my usual office gear, kissed her goodbye, and instead of heading to work, I drove right back and parked in the shopping center across from our apartment complex. The layout gave me the perfect vantage point. I could see our building from the back exit without being seen. I sat there for about an hour, nursing my coffee, trying to keep it together. But my leg wouldn't stop bouncing. I felt like I was bracing for something. I just didn't know what. And then it happened. A red Mustang pulled in. Not just any Mustang, her cousin's. I recognized the tacky skull and wrench decal on the back window. I knew the dent in the bumper. Hell, I'd helped him jump that car in our driveway not too long ago. Still, I tried to stay rational. Maybe he was just dropping something off. Maybe this wasn't what it looked like. But I didn't just rely on gut feelings. I had set things up. Earlier that morning, I'd rigged an old laptop in our home office. Positioned the webcam perfectly wide enough to catch the living room, kitchen, and the hall leading to our bedroom. Motion alerts were on. Remote access enabled from my phone. And the second someone walked through that front door, I got the notification. Let's just say what came next changed everything. At exactly 9:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected. I tapped into the live feed and there it was, Betrayal, playing out in full HD like a horror movie. I couldn't pause. Right in the middle of the frame stood Linda, greeting him at the door with this bright, beaming smile. But not the kind of smile you give your cousin. No, she leaned in and kissed him. Full on the mouth. Then, without missing a beat, she started unbuttoning his shirt. And the worst part? She giggled. Like a teenager with a school crush. Meanwhile, this dude didn't even bother to kick off his shoes. They didn't make their way to the bedroom either. Nope. They went straight for the couch. Our couch. The one I spent weeks saving up for. The one where we curled up together on cold nights, binging shows and eating takeout. Where we played Mario Kart. Where she'd fall asleep in my lap on Sunday afternoons. That couch. And they did it. Right there. No hesitation. Like it was their personal love seat. I didn't feel sadness. Not heartbreak. Not even shock. What I felt was fury. Cold, sharp, controlled fury. I started recording. Snapped stills. Captured every second of it, frame by frame. Then I took it a step further. I created a private stream link to the feed. And I didn't just tuck it away for later. Oh no. I dropped it in 2 group chats. One was our main circle of friends. The other? Her extended family group. Both included Linda. Both included him. At first, nothing happened. I just sat there in my car, still watching the show like it was some low-budget daytime drama. They were so wrapped up in themselves, so clueless. Then, the world exploded. Buzz. 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 My phone lit up like it was strapped to fireworks on the 4th of July. Messages started flooding in. Missed calls piled up. My inbox went insane. But in that apartment? Dead silence. She hadn't even glanced at her phone, too busy playing out her little fantasy. Around the 5th call, she finally picked it up. Still on top of him. Her face twisted in confusion like she couldn't fathom why Aunt Mary would call in the middle of her mid-morning bedroom Olympics. She hit speaker. Hello? The voice that answered? Sharp. Unsteady. And pissed. Her aunt. His mother. For words cold as a slap. Stop. Screwing. My. Son. That was it. And suddenly silence. Not just quiet, dead quiet. They froze like statues. Linda blinked like she just got hit with a bucket of ice water. Her face turned pale. What are you talking about? She choked out. Then came the detonation. There's a live stream, her aunt screamed. Cody sent it. Everyone's seen it. Boom. Panic set in instantly. Linda scrambled to grab couch cushions, covering herself in a pathetic rush. Her cousin, still half naked, tried to make a run for it. And Karma? Well, she works quick. He tripped over his own foot and face planted right into the coffee table. Left a dent. In both the table and his dignity. By then I had calmly pulled up to the main entrance of the apartment complex. No rush. No panic. My hands didn't even tremble. I parked like I was just showing up to a job interview I knew I'd nail. As I got out of the car, I spotted him, Prince Charming of the trailer park, running down the stairwell, hoodie half on, jeans barely hanging on. The second he saw me, he stopped short. Eyes wide. Real wide. Tears were already building, like he was about to give a heartfelt awards speech. Bro, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for her. I didn't let him finish. One punch. Clean. Solid. My fist met his joy like it was fate. He dropped to the pavement like trash day had come early. I didn't even look back. Didn't care if he stood up or melted into the sidewalk. I walked past him, up the stairs, and stepped into our apartment. The front door was wide open. Linda was on the floor, clothes on now, shaking like a leaf in a thunderstorm. Sobbing like someone had told her her world just ended. I stood in the doorway, calm as ice. Is that snot, I asked, or just pure regret leaking out of your face? She looked up, mouth trembling. Tried to speak, but I raised my hand. Don't, I said. It doesn't matter. And then she crawled toward me. Literally got on her knees. Like that was gonna fix anything. She begged. She cried. Said it was a mistake. Said she never meant to hurt me. I wasn't moved. You've got 1 hour, I said, deadpan. Pack up your crap. Clothes. Makeup. Whatever you actually brought here. Everything else. I stepped forward. Belongs to me. And just like that, the clock started ticking on the life she destroyed and the one I was about to rebuild from the ashes. I paid for that apartment, every inch of it. So when she broke down crying and asked where she was supposed to go, I didn't flinch. That wasn't my concern anymore. Turns out her mom didn't want her either, said she was too ashamed to even look at her. Her brothers? Cut her off like she never existed. Told people she might as well be dead to them. And her aunt, yeah, the one who called mid-thrust, booted her son out of the house on the spot. From what I heard later, Romeo the cousin spent a while couch hopping, dragging his bruised ego from one friend's place to another. Ended up working some dead-end gig a couple towns over, flipping burgers, changing tires, who knows. Linda tried crashing with an old high school friend, but even that didn't last. Nobody wants to be the one giving shelter to the town disgrace. And our town? Man, it's small. Real small. You could practically hear the whispers chase her through every grocery aisle. Feel the stares follow her at the gas station. She went from a familiar face to radioactive in the blink of an eye. She became poison, the kind no one wanted to touch. As for me, I moved on. Got a new place. Fresh start. Replaced everything in that apartment, top to bottom. New couch, new bed, new energy. I blocked her on everything. Didn't leave even a crack open. Funny enough, her brother stayed tight with me. Told me straight up I can't even look at her, man. She blew up her entire life for, what? One greasy afternoon. And you know what? Sometimes I catch myself wondering if she thinks about that day. Not as some huge fiery meltdown, but as this slow, creeping collapse she lit herself. But most days? I don't think about her at all. Because some people don't deserve second chances. Some people need to sit in the wreckage they created and live in it. And that's exactly what she's doing. Right after I told her she had an hour to clear out, I sat down, right there on the couch. Yeah, that couch. Still warm from the betrayal, still stinking of cheap perfume and bad choices. And I watched. Just watched her stumble around the place like a raccoon that got caught in daylight, panicked, clumsy, trying to gather her junk while sobbing through every apology. Cody, please, it didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. You have to believe me. Like those words were gonna cast some magical reverse spell. Like they'd erase the image of her straddling her cousin on my couch, laughing, moaning, making it look like we were running some shady motel with a family discount. I didn't say a thing. Just stared. Stone cold. Silent. You ever watch someone completely fall apart without even lifting a finger? It's something else. Kinda poetic. She was in such a rush, she left one of her fake eyelashes on the bathroom sink. Came back the next day like I was gonna let her in. Knock, knock, knock. Cody, I just need to grab one thing real quick. Yeah. No. I'd already changed the locks that afternoon. And now here's the best part. That live stream? Oh, it didn't just get passed around. It exploded. Not TikTok viral. Worse. Her aunt, yeah, the one who screamed at her mid-thrust, accidentally sent the link to her church group chat. Oh no, she said later, I didn't mean to send it to everyone. Sure, Linda. Sure you didn't. It was one of those oops, well, now that it's out there moments. You know the type. Linda tried going back to work like nothing happened. Clocked in. Tried to move boxes. Pretended she didn't just star in her own train wreck. But the whispers? Oh, they stuck to her like a bad smell. You ever try to manage a warehouse full of dudes after your naked cousin romp gets blasted through every group chat in town? Yeah. It didn't go well. She barely made it through a single shift before someone hummed the Cornhub intro under their breath. She quit by Friday. As for Cousin Cody, that dent on his forehead? Still there. A lovely little keepsake from my coffee table. Courtesy of karma. And his mom? She didn't just kick him out. She made him sit through a full-blown family dinner and apologize to every living relative at the table. Picture that. A plate of spaghetti in front of grandma while this fool tries to explain why he decided to play house with his cousin. I don't know, Mom. It just happened. Yeah, man. So do floods. And dumpster fires. Doesn't mean anyone wants them. A few weeks passed. I was finally sleeping better. Breathing easier. Feeling like myself again. Then I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was her. She said she was in therapy now. Wanted closure. Closure? Lady, if you wanted closure, maybe don't blow up your entire life with your cousin before lunch on a Wednesday. But I was bored. And if I'm being honest, still had a little petty left in the tank. So I said sure. Told her we could meet up. Public place, of course. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear how that went down. She walked into the cafe like she was filming a Hallmark audition, all soft colors, gentle curls, and that rehearsed "I've been crying for weeks" look plastered on her face. What she didn't expect. I wasn't alone. I brought my best friend. Didn't mention him to her ahead of time. The second she saw him sitting across from me, her whole act cracked. That fake smile? Dropped like dead weight. She froze mid-step. Eyes wide. Because he was in the group chat. He saw everything. Still, she tried to push through it. Her voice went low and shaky like a bad soap opera audition. I know I messed up. I lost the best thing that ever happened to me. I just nodded. Let her ramble. I know we can't go back, she whispered, but maybe, one day, we could be friends? I leaned back in my chair. Took a slow, deep breath. No. She blinked. Just, no. Yeah, I said. You don't get a sequel after you burn down the first movie set. You get blocked. Then I stood up and walked out. No dramatic exit. No, take care. Just gone. A few months later, I left that apartment. Too many ghosts in the walls. Too many memories soaked into the drywall. Upgraded to a better place. Nicer building, cleaner vibe. Got all new furniture. Especially the couch. This one hadn't been defiled by incest and betrayal. Big plus. But even after the move, the story didn't die. Not in this town. See, in a place this small, people remember. I'd be buying milk at the corner store and some old woman would squint at me from the checkout line and say, "Aren't you that boy who caught his girl with her cousin?" I just smile. Nod. Local legend status unlocked. Someone even DM'd me a meme once, split screen. On the left, a red Mustang. On the right, a couch with a biohazard label slapped on it. Caption read, Wednesday special. I laughed so hard I set it as my phone background for a full week. Linda? She didn't bounce back. Tried moving to another town, figured she could outrun the story. But the internet? Doesn't work like that. Every guy she tried dating eventually Googled her name. Found that Reddit post retelling the saga like it was some ancient tragedy. Full of popcorn emojis and dumpster fire gifs. One guy dipped before they even got to the entree. Meanwhile, I was doing just fine. Dated a little. Traveled some. Even bumped into cousin Cody once at a gas station. He looked like hell, sleeping in your car and showering at truck stops, kind of hell. I gave him a nod and walked right past. Didn't say a single word. Felt like justice. And that laptop? The one I used to catch them in the act? I wiped the drive clean, boxed it up, and donated it to a shelter. Felt right. A clean slate. A second chance for the laptop. Not for her. And just when I thought the story was over, nope. Almost a year later, I get a letter. Actual paper. Folded neat. Handwritten. It was from her. For pages of "I'm cleaning up my life, I'm so sorry, thank you for everything," and the classic "I'm working on making amends." I read it in silence. Then handed it to my dog. He had it shredded in 5 seconds flat. Now, if you think I learned my lesson after all that, think again. Let me tell you about the next chapter. Looking back, I wasn't just a nice guy. I was a full-on welcome mat with a neon sign blinking free rent, no backbone required. But at the time, I thought I was being patient. I thought I was being kind. I thought love meant showing up no matter what. Turns out love also requires basic survival instincts, and mine were clearly on vacation. That's when I met Natalie. 32. Sharp as hell. Beautiful. Single mom. We worked in the same building. She had this spark, like life had beaten her up a few times, but she still knew how to smile at the right moment. I was hooked. And her daughter? Emma. 7 years old and already dishing out sarcasm better than half the adults I knew. Natalie used to talk about her ex like he was some deadbeat from a soap opera. Said he didn't care about Emma, didn't care about her. "I just want someone real," she told me once, sipping wine. And who do you think raised his hand? Me. Like a damn fool. I bent over backwards trying to be that real man. Took them both on vacations, Disney, beach trips, even a ski resort once, even though I can't ski to save my life. I paid for dinners, school supplies, birthday parties. Brought little surprise gifts when Emma aced a test. Helped with her dioramas like I was trying out for Dad of the Year. And every time Natalie looked at me with that soft smile, I thought it meant she appreciated it. But now I realized that smile wasn't about gratitude. It was recognition. She knew she'd found another guy to use. After 2 years, I was all in. Hook, line, and wallet. And just when I thought things were finally perfect, I started planning the proposal. Yeah, you can probably guess where this is headed. I had it all planned out. Candlelight dinner at her favorite Italian spot, that engagement ring I'd been quietly saving for since last winter, the whole rom-com setup, just waiting for the music to swell. I got down on one knee, heart pounding like I was trying out for a Hallmark movie. "Natalie," I said, "I love you. I love Emma. I want us to be a family. Will you marry me?" She looked at me with the soft, distant smile, like I was a puppy doing some cute trick she hadn't asked for. Then she said, "Ryan, I just need more time. More time." I didn't argue. Didn't ask why. I just swallowed the lump in my throat and nodded like a well-trained little doormat. "Of course," I said. "Take all the time you need. Because, yeah, love takes patience, right?" Translation: I was a sucker. Fast forward a few months. We're sitting on her couch and the air is thick, way too quiet. That kind of quiet that makes your skin itch before a storm hits. Then she drops it, I need space, Ryan. It's not you. It's me. And like the absolute idiot I had coached myself to be, I nodded. Again. Didn't cry. Didn't ask for another chance. I said I understood. But then came the kicker. Can Emma and I still stay at your place? Just for a little while? Until I figure things out? A real man, one with a shred of dignity, would have laughed in her face. Told her to pack up and take her space elsewhere. But me? I thought about Emma. The bedtime stories, the packed lunches, the solar system diorama we glued together for her science fair. I thought about how much I still loved Natalie, God help me, and I said, of course. Stay as long as you need. And just like that, she moved into my house like nothing had changed. Still used my Wi-Fi. Still stocked the fridge with my groceries. Still left her shoes in the hallway and her dirty dishes in the sink. The only difference? She no longer had to pretend to love me. No hugs. No, how was your day? Texts. No eye contact unless she needed something. I became a background prop in her life, convenient, invisible, expected. And I told myself if I just waited long enough, if I gave her space, showed her love, stayed generous and steady, she'd come back. Yeah, I was that stupid. At first, it was just tiny paper cuts to the soul. She started texting other guys in front of me. Didn't bother hiding it. I'd walk in and she'd be grinning at her phone like I didn't exist. I stayed quiet. Told myself she was just confused. That it would pass. She stopped even pretending to be affectionate. No touches. No thank yous. No good morning. Only spoke to me if it involved groceries or childcare. And then the punch in the gut I didn't see coming. One night, I was heading to bed, passed by the living room, and heard her whispering on the phone. I stopped cold when I heard my name. Oh yeah, she laughed softly. I'm still at Ryan's. He's too nice to kick me out. She laughed. Like I was a running joke. In that moment, something inside me didn't snap, it broke. Quiet. Clean. Final. I saw the whole damn picture for what it was. She wasn't staying because she needed a place. She wasn't lost. Or scared. Or healing. She was comfortable. Because I was safe. Predictable. Easy. I was a stepping stone she didn't even have to ask to walk on. But that was about to change. I don't know what was worse, that she ended things and still lived in my house or that I let her. Actually, scratch that. The worst part? I believed she might come back. I really thought if I just stayed strong, gave her time, showed her I was steady, she'd wake up and realize I was the one. But let me tell you something I wish I'd known earlier. When a woman says she needs space, she's already gone. You're just the free Wi-Fi holding her over between decisions. At first, I didn't even notice the shift. We still had dinner together, though the conversation was robotic. She still smiled, but it was that fake customer service kind of smile. Polite. Empty. Then things got clearer. She started going out more. Stopped texting unless she needed something. But every night, she still came home to my house. Ate my food. Used my lights. Acted like she had a right to be there, like she was doing me a favor by staying. It was pathetic. And I was the punchline. Then came the final straw. One night, I came home from work a little late. Walked in expecting the usual Emma on the couch, Natalie half ignoring me. Instead, I found her sitting there with some guy I'd never seen before. Laughing. Leaning in close. Sharing little jokes like two teenagers sneaking in after curfew. And right then I knew. This wasn't a woman figuring things out. This was a woman who'd already moved on, she just forgot to pack. Natalie looked up when I walked in, completely unbothered. Oh hey, you're home, she said. Like I was just a roommate she forgot was on the lease. I forced a tight smile. Hey, who's this? The guy on my couch leaned back like he owned the place and grinned. I'm Jared. Just a friend. Just a friend, right? Because friends always sit a breath apart, laughing like high school sweethearts at prom. I nodded, but something about him didn't sit right. That gut feeling? Yeah, it wasn't just a whisper anymore. It was a full-blown siren in my chest. Later that night, after she went to bed, I did something I never thought I'd do. I snooped. I picked up her phone and guessed the passcode on the first try. It was Emma 111. Figures. What I found. It damn near froze the blood in my veins. Jared wasn't just some new fling. He was the guy. The one she'd been texting the whole time we were together. I scrolled through flirty messages, old selfies, inside jokes. Even texts where she complained about me, while I was still making dinner, still playing stepdad, still loving her like an idiot. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just a rebound. I was the backup plan. The safe harbor while she waited for her next storm. She never really ended things with Jared. She just put him on the bench until she was ready to swap players. And when she didn't even bother moving out. She moved on right there in my living room, in my house, using my money. And I was done playing the nice guy. You ever have one of those moments where everything finally clicks? Every red flag, every weird feeling, every excuse she gave. It all snapped into focus like a puzzle you didn't know you were solving. I've been played since day one, and it didn't even make her blink. I wasn't a clown. I was the entire circus, tent, elephants, and all. But here's the thing about guys like me, we don't explode. We plan. I wasn't about to scream or throw her out on the spot. No, that would be way too easy. I was going to make staying here miserable. First move? The Wi-Fi. She walked into the living room that morning, holding her phone like it had betrayed her. Hey, is the internet down? My phone says the password's wrong. I didn't even look up. Yeah, been glitchy all day. Probably an outage. She frowned. Well, I need it for work. I smiled. That sucks. And cranked the TV volume up. Next, groceries. I stopped stocking the fridge. Didn't say a word. Just started eating out every night. By the second day, she noticed. Hey, did you forget to grab food? I tilted my head like I was thinking really hard. Oh no, I just figured, since you're doing your own thing now, maybe you'd want to handle that. She bit her tongue. Didn't say a word. And the AC? This woman treated the thermostat like a nuclear reactor. Didn't matter the season. She always had the place set to Antarctica. So I turned it off. Completely. That night she came stomping into the room, glistening with sweat. Did the air break? I looked up from my phone. Huh? Oh yeah, I guess it did. But hey, with utilities getting expensive and all, I figured it's for the best. She was livid. Perfect. Her just a friend stopped coming around as much after that. Maybe he finally realized she wasn't worth the drama. Or maybe his forehead still remembered how fragile my coffee table used to be. Either way, she was slipping. She stopped bringing up her ex-husband in conversation, which was weird because she used to bash the guy every other sentence. Then one night, she tried something new. Hey, Ryan, she said, all sweet and syrupy. I was thinking maybe we should. I held up my hand. Natalie, I said, calm as ever. Don't you and I both know you don't mean that? She stiffened like I'd slapped her. I stood up, looked her dead in the eyes. You're not here because you care. You're here because I made your life easy. But that ends now. She swallowed hard. Ryan, what are you saying? I smirked. I'm saying enjoy the house while you still can. Your clock's running out. She just stood there, blinking, speechless. But I could see the cracks forming in her mask. She wasn't used to this version of me. The one who wasn't begging, wasn't bending, wasn't handing her comfort on a silver platter. The Wi-Fi was gone. The AC was off. The fridge was a desert. And the doormat she used to step on? He'd been flipped over. She tried to keep up appearances. Tried to act like everything was fine. But I could see it. She was unraveling. And me? I was just getting started. While Natalie was sweating through the fallout, I was crafting my final move. The one she'd never see coming. Then, one morning over breakfast, mine, not hers, she casually mentioned she and Emma would be heading out of town for the weekend. Some mother-daughter getaway. The moment those words left her mouth, I knew it. This was my window. And when she came back, nothing would be the same. Because while she was off enjoying her little weekend getaway, I was making damn sure she had nothing to come back to. Here's what she didn't realize: Natalie was never officially on the lease. The house was mine. Every bill? My name. Every utility? Tied to me. So before I pulled the trigger, I spoke with a lawyer. Ran the situation by him, laid it all out. Turns out, since she never paid rent, never signed anything, and had no written agreement, she had zero legal claim to the property. Beautiful. So the second her car left the driveway, I met up with someone very special. Her ex-husband. Now don't get me wrong, I never liked the guy. Not even a little. But you know who hated him even more? Natalie. She called him every name in the book. Deadbeat. Waste of space. Her biggest regret. So naturally, I leased the house to him. Full legal contract. Signed. Sealed. Rock solid. And me? I grabbed my things and moved into a brand new luxury apartment across town, rooftop view, balcony, the works. A few days later, I got a text from my new tenant. Bro, I think she almost had a heart attack last night. She walked in, saw me sitting on the couch, and screamed like I was a ghost. Funniest *T I've ever seen. Thanks for the place, man. I smirked. Oh, I bet she did. Late Sunday night, Natalie must have waltzed in expecting to slide right back into her house like nothing ever changed. Instead, she unlocked the door and walked straight into her ex, lounging on my couch, TV blaring, feet up like a king in his castle. She screamed. He just looked over, grinned, and said, "Welcome home." From my new apartment, I got the call. One ring. I picked up. What the hell, Ryan? I pulled the phone away from my ear, chuckling. Oh, Natalie. You're back. How was your trip? You let my ex move into my house. I stretched out on my king-size bed, took a sip of whiskey. Your house? Come on. Sweetheart, it was never yours. My name's on the deed. And guess what? My new tenant? Signed lease. All legal. Silence. Then she snapped. You can't do this. I smiled into the phone. I think we both know I already did. She was unraveling. I could hear it. I have nowhere to go, Ryan. I popped open a cold beer. Not my problem. Maybe Jared will take you in, I added casually. Oh wait, he stopped showing up, didn't he? And then for the first time in weeks, she hung up on me. That was it. Natalie was officially homeless. Jared, her just a friend, vanished. Poof. Gone. Her ex-husband, my tenant now, wasn't letting her sleep on his couch. She had no job lined up, no savings to fall back on, and no one left to play. Meanwhile, I was reclining on my private balcony, whiskey in hand, rent rolling in, and peace finally restored. A week passed. Then I got a text. I get it. I deserve this. But Emma didn't. I wish things ended differently. For a moment, a very brief moment. I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered all the lies. All the late-night texts to other men. The way she used me. Mocked me. Assumed I'd never fight back. And just like that, whatever was left of the sympathy in me died. I didn't reply. I blocked her number. Because Natalie? She wasn't my problem anymore. She was just another chapter in a book I'd finally closed. If you've made it this far, I want to hear from you. What would you have done? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories just like this.